Good morning, and thank you, Belinda. I'd like to express my gratitude to first the corporate members for your support of minority-owned businesses, and of course to the MPM SDC staff for arranging this for us this morning and all the support they provide ongoing to minority suppliers. Again, my name is Edmund Johnson. I am the CEO and owner of Premier Manufacturing. Next slide, please. We are a contract manufacturer of printed circuit board assemblies, also known as PCBAs. And just to ground you, any product that you may use in your home or that perhaps you buy in any kind of way, usually has, if it's an electronics product, then it has a printed circuit board assembly in there. I always use the example of the road signs that you see on I-25 and our major expressways that tell you if there's traffic ahead or other information. That is one of our customers, and all of that internal mechanism, the LEDs that you see light up, the electronics that make that sign operate, we manufacture for that particular customer. We've also had to pivot into another area. A lot of the contract manufacturing services that we provide to companies, starting 20, 25 years ago, we started to offshore those requirements to other countries. And so it left a niche for those of us that were still in this industry that were onshore here to cut out. But it's very commoditized. It's very price sensitive. So what I had to try to do for the long-term survivability and going forward with the company, we knew that we had to pivot to a product that we could build our own selves. And what we've done is we've created or purchased a company that was in bankruptcy that is a renewable energy company. They were one of our customers. And what they do is, or what we do now, we provide off-grid controllers using an AC motor. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in the presentation. A slide just popped up, but that is an example of the printed circuit board assemblies that we manufacture, and that's our core business. And in addition to that sign company, we manufacture for the medical industry. We do prototypes for the aerospace industry. We're very industrial focused with our printed circuit board assembly services. If you could go back to the previous slide, please. So we typically have, as an infrastructure, what any manufacturing company would have. We have 43,000 square feet here in Frederick, Colorado, 5 lines of manufacturing and 100 employees. We've tried to also minimize our ability on our workforce to supply us consistently with the type of skill sets that we need. I'm sure some of the corporate members know that we have a workforce issue in this country right now. And so we've tried to move towards automation. So we're trying to keep our employee base at a reasonable number that we need to operate, but we've looked at automation and what I call DNA diversification, which goes back to our renewable energy product. Our core operations of manufacturing, we have a warehouse, we have shipping and receiving, engineering, quality, documentation, procurement, finance and accounting, program management, and sales. Again, this is typical of manufacturing companies and infrastructure that we need to operate. So if we could skip the PCB slide and then go to the next slide after that, please. So we're going to go to slide 3. So we're highly automated, clean manufacturing using advanced manufacturing concepts. We have automated pick and place machines. Those are the machines that actually place the parts on the PCBs or the raw fabs. We have what we call automated optical inspection, AOI. So we have a lot of quality steps within our manufacturing process because we have to deliver on time. We've got to make sure we deliver a quality product that works in the field continuously. So we have a lot of inspection steps, and we've automated that over the years to include both visual inspection and then automated inspection. We have lean manufacturing tools. We are a lean manufacturing certified facility. One of those examples is line side storage. We've moved our storage from our warehouse to right there on our lines to add more velocity to our manufacturing process. So that's just one of the concepts that we've instituted. Again, back to the inspection, I mentioned before, we have in process. So that is where we have actual people looking at our boards to make sure that they meet the quality standards. We test. Most of our product is tested. It's tested. It's either by our customers that provide test fixtures, or we have our own, and then we go into a final inspection. Next slide, please. So again, I alluded to a couple of slides ago, the core competencies that we have. We're very proud of our procurement organization, especially now. You may have heard about worldwide shortages of semiconductors. So we put a lot of emphasis on making sure that we have continuity of supply and very mature and qualified people working in our procurement organization. That's my background is in operations, so that's near and dear to me. We also have various quality standards. ISO is a standard that many manufacturing companies have. The AS9100D, that is a standard that many don't have, and that's for aerospace. And their restrictions or the requirements for that particular certification are very stringent, as you can imagine. We also have a 13485 certification, which is the certification for medical devices, and then ITAR, which is a security certification. We have a typical program management organization that is the customer interface, and they provide all of the day-to-day activities and communication with our customers and our manufacturing floor. Next slide, please. So as I said, we're kind of starting all over in terms of how do you upstart a new company. And although Premier Energy Holdings is new in that aspect, we are an ongoing company when it comes to manufacturing. So we're faced with the challenges of a startup. We're raising funds, investment capital. We have a technology roadmap. And I think, would you go to the next slide, please, so I can further expound on that. So that's an example of the product that is coming out of our renewable energy focus in Premier Energy Holdings. And you're looking at a box there, but what it does is, and this is just briefly, if you take, for example, a water heater inside a residential house or in some commercial buildings, and also HVACs, they use a lot of power. And as we all know, the grid is limited. We've seen some of the issues that California has had. We know that under the American Jobs Plan right now, Mr. Biden is putting a lot of emphasis on renewable energy. We have carbon emission issues. So what this device does, it takes you away from the dependency on the grid. So if you have a water heater in your house, again, your water heater and your HVAC use a lot of power. With a solar water pump water heater, we can interface with that particular water heater, the solar water pump aspect of it, take you off the grid, and our device becomes a storage device. So you're running off of our device. It's one solar panel that is hooked up to that in a residential setting, and then you're not required to use the grid. You're working off the solar panel, and then we store the energy that when the panel or there is not enough sun, we can continually provide hot water to that hot water heater, which then saves the power off the grid, and also it saves the consumer or the commercial company dollars because they don't have to use the traditional electric source. So we're very excited about it. There's agriculture applications for it. It's the HVAC. It's as I said, it's solar water heaters, and there are a number of applications that can use this device. Next slide, please. And that concludes my presentation. Again, thank you very much for the time and your efforts in supporting minority suppliers.
Awesome, Josh, Edmund. Certainly, thank you so very much. We want to give our corporate members an opportunity to ask questions at this time. Does anyone have any questions for Edmund Johnson, CEO of Premier Manufacturing?
This is Jim Garnis from Excel Energy. Just have a quick question around this load switching device. Have you worked with any utilities to incorporate this into some of their energy conservation programs that they offer?
We have the intention, but no, we have not made that connection, Jim.
Okay.
Hopefully you can help us with that, with Excel.
Alrighty.